Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are bringing you a super fast-paced synthesis of the morning's most critical global stories. We're going to map out this totally incredible chain reaction, starting from a geopolitical standoff all the way down to the very foundation of our digital future.
I know, it almost sounds kind of like a riddle, right? But honestly, this one massive question is pretty much defining global markets today. What exactly connects a Middle Eastern blockade to the price of artificial intelligence? Well, in this explainer, we are going to reveal the fascinating domino effect between geopolitics, physical energy supplies, and the emerging digital economy. Let's dive in.
All right, part one, geopolitical shockwaves and the US-Iran standoff.
So, to understand this complex web, we really have to look at the first domino, right? It starts with the escalating diplomatic and military tensions between the United States and Iran. Let's look at exactly where the two nations stand today. The U.S. position, laid out by President Trump, threatens these unprecedented economic penalties against any country supporting Iran. And that warning extends straight to allies and to China. The U.S. also absolutely insists that the crucial Strait of Hormuz remains open. On the flip side, Iran condemns these threats as literally economic terrorism. They maintain they're open to negotiations without surrendering, but they assert that the Strait of Hormuz is in fact closed. So we're seeing a complete stalemate here, to the point where the UAE has even suspended economic transactions with Iran following recent missile threats.
Which brings us right into part two, the physical impacts and a squeeze on global fuel. Because, look, these geopolitical standoffs, they aren't just taking place in quiet, diplomatic meeting rooms. They're having an immediate, honestly devastating impact on physical infrastructure, and it's pushing the global energy crisis into a dangerous new phase. We are no longer just dealing with crude oil shortages, we are dealing with a severe lack of refined fuel. More than 20% of Middle Eastern refining capacity has been destroyed during the Iran war. You add to that the fact that Ukrainian attacks have reduced Russian refinery output by nearly 30%. If you put that all together, half of the capacity in these critical regions is simply offline, just gone. And because that physical infrastructure is just gone, supply simply cannot meet everyday consumption. The ripple effect? Diesel prices have spiked a staggering 70%, and gasoline is up 60% since the regional conflict began. I mean, think about that. That makes literally everything from crucial hospital deliveries to just your everyday commute astronomically more expensive.
Okay, now for part three, the digital parallel and the AI compute commodity.
This is where things get wild. Just as refined fuel is managed as this volatile, fiercely guarded global resource, artificial intelligence computing power is now facing the exact same reality. What's really fascinating here is this brand new concept, the compute derivative. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission is actually seeking public comment right now on how to regulate financial contracts tied to computing capacity. Just let that sink in for a second. Computing power is now functioning as a tradable industrial commodity. Basically, these contracts would allow AI developers and cloud providers to protect themselves against wild swings in the price and availability of AI infrastructure. It's exactly the way an airline hedges against the price of jet fuel, but for code.
Now, to understand why Wall Street desperately needs these compute derivatives, you just have to look at the raw demand. Big technology companies are expected to pour approximately $650 billion into AI infrastructure in 2026. That is a massive number. At the very same time, the Pentagon is demanding faster battlefield AI deployment. This has led companies like Smack Technologies to raise $61 million just to build out Alpha, which is a wrist-worn AI device for military personnel. And to power all of this, cloud providers are in a fierce, brutal competition for a very limited supply of electricity, land, and high-capacity grid connections. The digital world is literally slamming into physical limits.
Which brings us to our final thought. The lines between our physical resources and our digital future, they're blurring faster than ever. As we look at the entire geopolitical chessboard, the damaged oil refineries, and this insane race to secure massive amounts of power for data centers, we really have to ask, will AI compute become as volatile and as vital a global commodity as crude oil? It is an absolutely fascinating question to ponder as these markets converge. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep your eyes on how these stories continue to connect.